Welcome to Screencastify Top Tips, where we will share some of our best kept secrets of ways you can use Screencastify to create the most incredible videos, no matter what you're using them for. Let's jump in. The first thing I want to talk to you about is using the drawing toolbar. This is a great resource for you to be able to customize what you're seeing on the screen, engage with your viewers, and make sure that your videos are clear and precise. So let's talk about some of those tools. Remember that if you want to use the drawing toolbar, when you start your recording, you'll have your extension open, and in this Show More Options section, you'll be able to toggle on the drawing tools. Let's talk about the mouse tools. There are a number of different ways that the mouse can show up on your screen when you're recording. All of them are great for different purposes, depending on what it is that you're hoping to accomplish with your audience. So first things first, you have the click mouse. This is going to be great for digital demos. If you are walking someone through how to do something, they can see exactly what you're clicking on and follow your steps exactly. So again, use this click mouse for digital demos to make it very clear what you're clicking on at any given point. Next, we have the focus mouse. This is going to be a great way to spotlight specific information on your screen. Notice that you can make that spotlight bigger or smaller so that you can be really precise about what it is that you want your viewers to focus on. Last but certainly not least, we have the fireworks mouse. Add some excitement, some flair to your videos. When you click, you'll get these colorful fireworks that are sure to get your viewers engaged and excited. In addition to the mouse tools, there are a couple other ways that you can annotate on screen using the toolbar. The pen and the rectangle are great for annotation. So let's start with the rectangle. Much like the focus mouse, the rectangle is going to be a great way to highlight specific information on your screen. The difference between the rectangle and the focus mouse in terms of when you might use it is that the focus mouse is going to disappear after you stop hovering over something, whereas the rectangles will stay there once you put them there. You can certainly click that eraser button and clear your screen, but the rectangles are going to be a more permanent way than the focus mouse to highlight information on your screen. In addition to the rectangle, you have the pen tool. This is great for other types of annotations. If you want to put a star next to something, draw an arrow that points at a particular piece of information or image on the screen, or maybe you want to circle and highlight something there as well. You can even write words with the pen tool, and you have a number of different color options for how this shows up. So it's a great way to make sure that your viewer is looking at what you want them to look at and to highlight that information as you record. Okay, in addition to the drawing toolbar, I want to talk about the ability to adjust your settings. The important word here is while, right? We're not talking before. You can certainly adjust your settings before you record, but the secret here is that even once you click that record button, you can still go ahead and adjust those settings. Let's talk about how. First things first is the pause button. You can certainly use the pause button if you make a mistake, if you need to take a breath or drink a sip of water, but my favorite use of the pause button and the secret here is these magic moments. If you pause, you can make it seem like things are appearing on the screen. Notice that these shapes in this GIF are sort of just popping up. And the way we've done that is pausing the recording, adding those images to the screen, and then resuming. So for the viewer, the magic is that those things are just appearing when behind the scenes, we're drawing them while the recording is paused. Next, we have the ability to control the webcam and the toolbar. You can move your webcam around on the screen even once you've already clicked that record button, right? You can make your webcam bigger so you can talk directly to your audience. You can shrink it down if you are not the focal point of the video, and you can move the drawing toolbar around as well. On the drawing toolbar, you can also start and stop your webcam if you decide you don't need it or need it back again. So there are lots of different ways that you can control that webcam and that toolbar, again, while you're already recording. So you don't have to be perfect or have it all figured out before you start the recording. You can always make those adjustments during that recording process. All right, I want to talk about polishing your project in the editor. In order to do that, I want to talk through a couple of things. So the thing that I want to start with is that when you finish recording, when you click that stop button, once you've made the video, your video is going to open in this video management page. Now we know that these videos automatically save to Google Drive. That's not what we're here to talk about. Instead, I want to talk about one of the adjustments that you can make in terms of polishing your video right from this very page before you even jump into the editor. So let's start with that. That is quick trim. So you'll notice these scissor icons on the bottom of your recording in the video management page. You can drag those scissors, click trim, and quickly get rid of excess footage in the beginning or at the end of your video. So again, without even having to go into the editor, you can go ahead and make this project a little more polished with that quick trim option. Now let's talk about actually jumping into the editor. Remember, there are a couple of different ways that you can navigate to the editor. So again, starting from this video management page that opens as soon as you finish recording, the first option you have is to click this button and go straight to the editor. The second option you have in terms of navigating to the editor is to open your extension, click on what they call the hamburger icon, which is these three lines in the corner, and choose the editor option. Either of those, the open an editor button or navigating there through your extension, will take you to the editor where you can do some of the things that we'll talk about next in terms of polishing. You can use the cut tool to break up a video into smaller chunks. You can also use that tool to delete mistakes. So notice that you can, whenever there's a mistake, cut right before the mistake, cut right after the mistake, and then use that trash can delete button in order to get rid of that mistake entirely. Nobody will know that it even existed. The last thing that I want to talk about is using these title cards in order to introduce the sections of your video. Remember that effective video is going to talk about one thing at a time. And in order to indicate to your viewers what it is that you're talking about at any given moment, you can add a title card and put some text there to introduce the section. Okay, to do that, again, you'll use that cut tool that we already talked about, which will break up the clip and give you a spot to stick that title card. Once you insert the title card on the right side of your screen, you'll have lots of options for formatting that text and making it look exactly how you want it in order to introduce the next section of your video. Let's talk about adding specificity to your video. In the editor, we can crop and blur the things that are not important, right? So we can use the crop tool in order to highlight a particular part of the screen and make sure that that is the only thing that viewers are seeing. Similarly, if we want to show the whole screen, we can use the blur tool to blur out particular pieces that we don't think viewers need to see. So again, crop allows us to choose the section that we do want them to see, and blur allows them to see the entire screen, but us to select pieces that we don't want to be visible and blur those out. We can also zoom in on what is important, right? So if we want to highlight particular information after we've created a video, we can always use this zoom button. We can make that rectangle as big or as small as we want it to be, and we can zoom in on a particular part of the screen in order to add specificity and focus to that piece of the screen. Last, but certainly not least, in terms of our top tips and best kept secrets, is our ability to collect data from our viewers. I will be very honest in saying that I have created a million trillion, probably not that many, videos in my lifetime and shared them with a ton of different audiences. Historically, I've just crossed my fingers that folks are watching the videos and that they understand them. But with Screencastify, I actually have some access into the data that allows me to see what's happening with that video once I send it out to my audience. Let's see how that looks. The first thing is that we can see who is watching the videos, right? So by customizing our viewer settings, we have access in to be able to see who those viewers are. We can see when their most recent view was and how many times they viewed a video. So this is going to provide us some real accountability in terms of who's watching those videos and when. Last but not least, we can assess the understanding of the video whenever it's necessary. Sometimes it might not be, but it certainly sometimes will. In terms of assessment, we can add some multiple choice questions to our video, and then we have access to data and information about how folks are doing with those questions. So we can see each individual viewer's breakdown, how they've done on all of the questions. And then we can see each question breakdown to see overall, what is my audience's general understanding of this question? So again, this is an incredible way to tell how folks are engaging with your video. Thank you so much for watching. We hope that you have an incredible week and that you're able to use some of these Screencastify top tips, which are, again, best kept secrets.